Oh, let's change this. Blink. No, not that one. There it goes. Let's see if we're on yet. Looks like we're good. This is a after show discussion. It's going to be very short. And by the way, it's never been a secret, and I think this is pretty hilarious how like low comprehension and low intellect people are who think that telling me that I'm 5'5" is somehow like hurting that. Yeah, you're right. I come from an amazing Italian family, very large one. And my dad is German, Irish, and Italian too. He's 6'2". My mom's 5'1". I got the happy medium. My grandfather, all the people that I love very much, they didn't break 6 feet, except for my dad on the other side. Why is that a thing that I should be like, oh, you hurt my feelings? Am I supposed to pretend? Am I supposed to LARP with you fuckers? Give me a break. And then all the other stuff that people are, floods, fanatical freaks are trying to dox me with, it's childish nonsense. You guys have mental problems and have severe intellectual deficiencies. Deficiencies that you might actually just simply have a mineral deficiency in, and maybe that's why you're a piece of shit. But you'll never know that because you wanna shit talk the actual people who are trying to help you. Well, they're not trying to help you because I don't think you're actually you don't count. And that was directed to the specific people who are wasting their life and time trying to get to me. Now let me get to the FTJ here. You don't count. Okay. Now let's hope that this message reaches the right people. I've gone over this many times. Now, I guess there might be new people that are listening or watching on different platforms, and people who just run into something apparently feel like they need to dump their purses out and tell you everything that they think you don't know, as if you haven't, like you just woke up or something, or that you were just born. And I've gone over so many times the Malthusian genocidal eugenics program. And great detail just on Malthus. Only once did we, spend a little extra time on there because the book is long and I'm trying to read through it, and it's a bunch of, Tierra del Fuego and all this other stuff I have to read through because of his interactions when he went on a boat cruise, basically the same way that Darwin did. And they actually interacted with the same Tierra del Fuego people who were very backward. And they're formulating their opinions about how these people don't really account in the world. Just I'm not discounting that thought, especially when they don't know how to plant a seed and they've been for how long, in that area. Then they don't know how to make their own food. But the point is, it was applied. Malthus was an instructor, like a teacher at the university or whatever you want to call it, of the it's either British or Dutch East India Company. He was working for the Oives, and his theories were then applied because he was talking about population and it doubling, and it was all, how to lie with statistics type of stuff. And of course, the cult being the cult, they always want to keep a manageable amount of the goy. So that means resets and mass murders and wars and plagues and all this stuff to keep our population down. What better way than to infiltrate the healthcare and tell you that the opposite of everything is healthy? The opposite of poisonous is healthy. So if they have determined that something is healthy, then they'll tell you it's not healthy. And this is exactly the foundation of allopathic medicine. When I was just told that there's this particular doctor, and forgive me if I don't remember the name, it's in a different chat from a video that's not fully finished, what they call encoding, so I can't go back into the chat right now and find it. But I think it was Teutonic who said something about the book, and then said Dr. Glidden would greatly. It's like to tell somebody that it's a Jewish conspiracy is like to say water's wet. Like you probably don't know Dr. Glidden enough to know what we've discussed in the past, even on the show. He's not dumb to how the world works. And I've discussed with him on various broadcasts. I brought up the Malthus thing. I brought up the Béchamp or Pasteur. And these are the main points in history where you can study and see exactly what they did to healthcare. Malthus wanted people to start recommending that the Goy start, building their homes and stuff like that near marshy lands where there's more of a chance that they'll get an illness, or in cramped, industrial, unsanitary places. That's the recommendation you give the people that you don't think too much of, because you don't want them to continue on. You don't want them to procreate. That's Malthus. Malthus had a genocidal eugenics program, and they utilized that in the framework of allopathic medicine. And as they were constructing it, along comes Pasteur, the biggest fraud on the planet. Around the same time, you have the Rothschilds for the very first time. I think there was only 2 times in history where they actually crawled out of their cave to address the public directly, and they spoke out against raw milk, which is super healthy for you. Of course, they spoke out against raw milk and the germs, because the new germ theory that they funded and propped up from Pasteur, because it was making people too healthy for the poisons that the Ois were putting in your wells and other places. So they want you to be deficient in nutrients so that it's easier for you to get ill. It's easier for you to formulate illness from within, is really where most of it happens, from deficiencies. Then there's the pleomorphic microzyma, the key element that they don't talk about and that they erased from Béchamp in the history of what he discussed. And it was in the same, he was contemporary to Pasteur, whom they stole just enough of the truth from Béchamp to where it was not really useful, because of what you needed to also know from Béchamp in order to understand health properly and how you can maintain and sustain health by understanding how the pleomorphic microzyma work and how to maintain a healthy environment inside of you. And when you have the nutrients that you need, the 90 essential nutrients, minerals being super important to that, your inner workings are going to be a really strong, impenetrable. They're not going to be as swayed from stresses or outside influences or inside influences. Nothing's going to form. Most illness comes from within. It's usually a deficiency issue. Most diseases that they tell you comes from a virus is actually something that comes from deficiencies as well. And then they just tip you a little bit by applying some more toxins to your environment, and you're already in a weakened state because of a lack of minerals or proper minerals that are bioavailable to you. And those have to pass through a plant, i.e. plant-derived minerals, fulvic-humic acid, fulvic-humic blends, stuff like that. That's where you can actually absorb your minerals, and they're useful to your body. Different forms of copper are, like copper sulfate isn't good for you. Copper, Glidden, whatever the hell it's called. I forgot how you say the word. Is it on here? Yeah, bisglycinate, chelate is good for you. And that's something that your body can absorb. So whatever the book is, it's just going to be a regurgitation of the things that, through my research, I've discovered already, and it's enough to understand, to come to a conclusion without having to be what do you call it? I don't have to be convinced anymore that obviously the cult of human sacrifice that runs everything that's a power lever in this world, of course they're trying to kill you. The evidence is all around us, and the 5,000-year track record that I've been, presenting to you guys from the Edda on up indicates a pattern of behavior through poisonings and underhandedness, getting people to fight, causing, being subversive, being insurgents, causing divisiveness, as are the people who pretend, the wolves in sheep clothing, that pretend to be on the side of good or on the side of, understanding and being aware of the human or whatever the hell they are, parasites that are actively working for our destruction. But yet, the moment they get a hair up their ass because of egos or whatever the case may be, they activate and they show who they truly are. And they go after the people who are presenting positive, useful information while they're playing infotainment on their side to get, I guess, donations or something. I don't know what the true motivation is, but attacking other people just shows that you don't have enough going on in your own life and you feel threatened by things. I'm not sure why. I'm not the one going after you. And it would help if you had people who could read or write a full sentence without any grammatical errors or any other problems. if your henchmen aren't that bright, guys. Anyhow, as I was saying earlier, the history of allopathy, I mean, this is coming from Galen, opposites cure opposites, and they don't. MDs are good for surgery because that's what they do. And if it's necessary, big caveat there. And then also, what are they going to try to stick in you while you're there? But you don't need to go to them for your daily health and nutrition needs. You shouldn't be, because it's all inverted. They're lies. You don't need prescription or any other type of drugs. Those are lies if you think that that's how you get to health. Nothing that they try to do is curative. Homeopathy is curative. Naturopathy, nutrition, that's preventative and curative. So in the discussion of health, we've got it covered here very well. And the introduction or the need for input on to who's the bad people who infiltrate. They didn't infiltrate. They created the structure, and then they forced it in with Rockefeller and Rothschild drug trust money into America. And in 1945, here, let me read it to you. Let's go to this one first. And the United States first began adding fluoride to public drinking water on January 25th, 1945, right around the end of the war. Because we were already infiltrated and conquered and destroyed by the banking cult with their own little embassy that we call the Federal Reserve in our country. Remember, the demons already had control, and they started pumping out. It was a total of $20 million in gold to fund the Bolshevik Revolution. Even retards can succeed when they have unlimited funding. And they murdered 60 million Russians through starvation and mass murder. And we all know what they did in the Second World War, raping 2 million. And that's just the German women. They went on a rape rampage. The way that they did, the way that the Bolsheviks handled the Russian population is coming to America. And anybody who wants to infight right now, they have some severe issues because what do they think? Do they think this is all a game, or are they actually on the wrong side of things? Because there's nothing coherent about what they do. And there's nothing admirable. They don't show character. They show that they're low-life degenerates, very low-brow, very unhinged, irate. And trust me, buddy, height doesn't matter if you can't fight. If you can't fight, you probably shouldn't fuck with me. Not that you who are cowards would get close enough for that to happen anyway. So January 1945. Okay, so so they began adding fluoride to public drinking water in January 25th, 1945. That would be the cult, right? That would be the Oi Aveys, as we call them here, and other names. The Kabbalistic cult of child sacrifice, who runs everything here. And then, same year, the famous 8 glasses a day is right there. So they started telling you to drink more water the same time they started putting fluoride in it. This is coming from the official sources of the Health Administration of America. Now, that's what they're defending by saying that Dr. Glidden this and that, Dr. Bonzo that. You people don't really care about anybody else's health. You want to misdirect them. You want to misguide them. And that only serves, regardless if you're on their payroll or not, that only serves the people who are trying to make us meet our demise. And I don't think this is going to get through their heads, but I hope it gets through to other people who are witnessing the slander and the bullshit that they're trying to do, and understand how ridiculous of human beings they are. They don't have your best interest in mind. They want you dead as well, apparently, because they don't seem to care if they misguide you away from the true health information that I'm trying to provide for you. And if it wasn't correct, why the effort? Why the effort, guys? If I wasn't onto something, if I wasn't telling dangerous truths here about health and history, if I wasn't connecting the proper dots and making it easier to understand under countless of hours of research that I have the privilege of being able to do, because of the way I've, built a business and things like that. I don't have to go slave away somewhere else. I can use my free time when I have it, which is whenever. But I get to read and study and do things like that. And then I report what I find interesting or useful or invaluable to others to help us all get on the same page and become aware of even understanding how and why things are being told to us and how they're misguiding us, so that we can make better decisions and we can identify when something is trying to harm you so that you don't get caught up in it. When I got kicked off of YouTube the first time, it wasn't because I ever said the Jew word. I hadn't. It was because of health. It was because of me trying to warn people about all childhood vaccines. And this was happening. I was doing this before COVID occurred. And then when COVID occurred, they killed my channel. And then they brought it back 4 years later, and they just killed it again. So it is what it is. You guys don't want to believe it? That's fine. You guys want to attack the person who's trying to be helpful to people? Because there's nothing that I'm doing except taking my own time about my life to share something that I think is important to the good people out there who are wanting to know what the hell is going on. Why would there be somebody objecting to that, who pretends and gets close to the circles that this stuff occurs in, only to then attack certain people. What is it that? What is the purpose of that? Why? What is your true motivation? Anyhow, let's see what's going on over here. I mean, over here. Okay. So, as far as reading another book that from an MD, which I would prefer not to, simply because they are part of the cult, and if they say, "Oh, they talk about a Jewish conspiracy in the medical," like, no shit, no shit, no shit. I just saved myself an awful lot of time. I already know this, but I can point to the actual times where that stuff was happening. Hello, D-Bot. How's it going, buddy? I can point to the who and the when, and I've already mapped it out. All of the vaccine lies come from the time of Béchamp and Pasteur. Jenner was before that, yeah, but this whole thing, this whole nonsense. First, the shots and the concept of virus was a cover up for the pollution that they were causing through the Industrial Revolution. Oh, smallpox, this and that, and the other thing. Yeah, your body's erupting with toxins to try to get them out of you because you're in a disgusting environment. But they call it a virus, and then they try to inject you with more poison because it's a genocidal eugenics program. They get you sick, and then they try to harm you more. And that's all I'm trying to say, because, I mean, Dr. Glidden is well aware. He's been fighting this for 37 years. If you say, "Oh, I think you would greatly benefit from this," he is well aware that the medical establishment, he's an ND, not an MD. He's well aware. And the 90 essential nutrients are essential. The fact that you don't understand, that some people don't understand that, is because the cult has done a really fucking good job convincing you of exactly what I said, that things that you don't think that you need are the exact things that you need to be healthier than the poisons that they can throw at you and the toxic environment that they can put you in. And if that's unavoidable, the only defense that you have is your internal defenses and how strong that they are. And signals can suppress things, they can trigger things, they can turn things on and off inside of you. And there's towers everywhere doing all that. But if you have your essential nutrients, you are less susceptible to an internal environment being altered on you, because the pleomorphic microzyma will be under the impression, if you don't have a strong enough internal homeostasis, that something is happening where it needs to alter the way it's managing its own environment, and that's where the illness occurs. And it can be turned back the right way through homeopathic applications of homeopathically prepared, like tablets and things like that. The law of potentization is just enough to give you the frequency signature or the energetic properties of that particular substance, but it's enough to initiate within you the change, because the pleomorphic microzyma recognize what has been, the information that has been basically taken away from it from the signaling, the false signaling that it was receiving. As far as the 90 essential nutrients, why the hell do you think you wouldn't need those? We've gone over the soil is depleted, overproduced, overused, constantly. They turn over, but it's just, when I look out here, there's farmland all around me in every direction. It's basically dust, but they put enough chemicals and shit and fertilizers and other things like the pesticides suppress the microbes that allow the minerals to get into the plant. I'm pretty sure that would be intentional. They even use animal venoms in some of these pesticides. There's glyphosate as a desiccant to dry certain things out, including the cotton that you wear. A lot of this stuff is not very easy to avoid. And when you understand how they treat your food and how they're constantly treating your food, and there's plenty out there discussing this. There's plenty of information out there, and there's plenty of different disgusting chemicals that they're using now that they weren't using before, because they're accelerating the process of getting us ill and poisoning every bit of food out there. And the ticks, I think, are part of that, so that you can't eat anything in nature either, making you dependent on them. They're coming in for the kill, and it's at that time that there's a bunch of short-sighted mental patients who want to try to. It's not even infighting, because they're not in anything. They're outside. They're little bitch loyalists to people, and that's all their existence is. Or they're getting a crummy paycheck from an oy vey Kabbalist themselves. But an effort's being made to try to undermine real information. And I want to make it very clear so that you know exactly what you need to be healthy. And if you don't want to take that advice, that's on you. At least I told you. I can clear my own conscience from that. If you guys want to attack and challenge me, you guys are pathetic if you don't confront me in person, because if you can't, then all you are is a little coward bitch. That's all I'm saying. And the people who have been making these claims, that half the people that they want me to engage with, I don't even know them at all. And they're making claims on certain platforms that I am because this is how they garner sympathy for their own disgusting behavior, is that they claim that I am guilty of harassing somebody that I don't even know. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to paint for the court of public opinion that I'm some jerk off, when they're the fucking jerk offs, and they wanted to make it seem like they're just the response, like they're the crusaders of justice, the chivalrous ones. No, they're just saying that so that they can be degenerates and try to cause as much harm as they can, or talk as much shit as they can, without people being like, what the hell's your problem, dude? So they have to come up with bullshit. Half the people they've claimed this, I don't even know who the hell they're talking about. And I've never once said anything about anybody else's children, but they do. They try to. There's nothing off limits for these pieces of shit. Nothing. So one more time, you definitely need your Fulvic-Humic blood and your minerals. You're not going to get those unless you're supplementing, because of the way that yes, you're absolutely right. The Jewish / Kabbalistic cult of child sacrifice made sure that you didn't. We are aware of that. The whole food multivitamin, yes, you need that from a clean source, which is the Azure well stuff. Magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, and inositol, because they've pumped a bunch of reduced iron into your tissues, causing chronic fatigue, offsetting your copper. All that stuff, yes. You need the things that I'm recommending to you. And I did my best to find the best of those. And I also was able to get a discounted coupon for people who want it. Why is anybody thinking that they need to be like, oh, this guy doesn't know his stuff? When it comes to Dr. Glidden, Dr. Glidden is 37 years of clinical experience. He went to Bashir College. He had to go through all kinds of board certifications and all kinds of other stuff. And that's in their system. Okay? He's an ND, naturopathic doctor, not an MD, which is better known as a murderous doctor. This whole system is set to kill you. Yes. And this is what we discuss every fucking Wednesday. and what I've discussed on my own since 7 years ago. This place that we hang out in isn't what it appears to be, isn't what it seems, and everything's inverted. And that's really the whole point of all this. Wake up, guys. And then for those who don't need to hear this, I'm not talking to you. This is the funny thing. People who get insulted by things, it's because they feel like they're guilty of it. If they know that I'm not talking to them, it doesn't even faze them because they know that it's not. I'm not talking about them. It's like if somebody yells "robber" and you're not stealing something, you probably don't get offended by it. But if you are a degenerate little shit who wants to try to cause harm, disrupt shows, try to pop on the StreamYard when I'm the one who offered the link, and then I have something coming into my StreamYard saying Flood owns me. No, he doesn't own shit. He doesn't even show his fucking face. This is really fucking good. If you don't want to get it, cool. Best of luck to you. Whole food multivitamin. Very fucking good. If you don't want to get it, cool. Best of luck to you. Whoops. Slapped myself in the face with the quarter copper. I was looks maxing. I don't know if you noticed that. I was doing some bone smashing. Core copper. If you don't want to get it, that's fine. Best of luck to you. Fulvic-Humic blend or a plant-derived mineral in liquid form. If you don't want to get it, that's fine. Best of luck to you. Those who want to listen probably have the substance of character and the actual connection to the benevolent creator that is worth trying to protect and preserve and save. Those who want to shit on that probably deserve to not be here anymore. So I don't care if those people understand this. I'm actually hoping that they don't. And the fact that they're over here like little freaking chihuahuas, it's just more fuel for the fire that, yeah, these are excess human beings. And for that, yeah, I would be a definite eugenicist. A passive one, of course. Meaning we could breed a little bit better, couldn't we? And Alex says, I've noticed some organizations and the like often mislabel Roundup or glyphosate as a pesticide, but it's an herbicide. I feel like that's intentional as to be a simple thing to dismiss in court if ever got to that point. They can't even go to court now because that chemical substance is now without liability thanks to Trump. You know, the guy who works on behalf of the Kabbalistic child-killing parasites? Yeah, that guy. The guy who, talked shit about a particular guy in Kentucky, and now he's not part of Kentucky's representation anymore. Yeah, that guy. He says, I caught some informational post from someone on Facebook not too long ago, and the whole thing kept saying pesticide, but it's an herbicide. Yeah, there's probably other stuff in it. I think there's other components that might even indicate that there's synthetic venoms in it, in the actual Roundup itself. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I wish the person who wanted to try, who just showed up yesterday when we were doing the stream with Gahari, Dave, and now today, second show, wants to try to basically, why don't you find out what a person does already before you try to tell them how to think or where to think? It's like, dude, I've already gone over all this. I get it. And coming from direct source, do I really need to hear from an allopath who has their own agenda? No, I don't. Oh, it's a Jewish conspiracy. Yeah, but just because somebody says that doesn't mean that they're on your side. Just because someone says that doesn't mean they're not also misdirecting you or setting you up for something. You got to be bigger and smarter than that. You got to understand, you got to study the person, not just the information. Because the information, of course, the best lies are laid with truth. But what are they doing? And who are they? So I've done a very thorough job of finding the exact times in history where monumental, pivotal things occurred. Darwin is part of that. It's Darwinian idealism. It's the Malthusian method. And it's the money. Back then, yes, sir, it was Rothschild. But you can call it the conglomerate of the Jewish banking cult or the Kabbalistic cult of child sacrifice and banking. And they're in control of how you perceive reality. The fact that you see pharmaceutical commercials direct to consumer on your TV means that this place is fucking done. It means that you are free range chickens in an open range, but you're in a cage. You're geofenced, and it's going to get smaller. You're in a playpen, or what they call panopticon of surveillance. And it's just a matter of time before it's your time. And they're going to decide that. And they'll also decide how painful it is if we let this continue. In the meantime, knowing that they're going to dump a bunch of toxins on us constantly, well, why wouldn't you want to be as healthy as you possibly can while that's occurring, so that you can prevent as much as you can, having the what they call some call the terrain necessary to deflect or to resist the stresses that they throw at you. Toxic stresses, environmental stresses, electromagnetic radiation stresses, or signals. If your body is healthy, it'll resist a lot because it wants to maintain itself and it can heal itself. But it does need raw materials to do that, and that's why I tell you what those are. This is a public service. This is what I do. This is what I care about. I want a world for my family. I'm still feeling pretty freaking healthy and young myself, and I would like to continue living without the restraints that I see them placing on us slowly through data centers, through surveillance, through bullshit in your fucking cars. That has to all be turned around. It has to be walked back, and they're not going to do that themselves. We have to. We have to. We have to remember who's actually in charge of our lives. If we decide that it's them, then we suffer the fate that they want to give us. It doesn't have to go that way. That's a choice. It's a really bad choice. Yeah, but Jolly Roger, if I'm warning people of something, don't you fucking understand why that would be a thing? Why I would want to warn people? Otherwise, have fucking fun over there, dude. Again, I don't fucking care. The people who need to know this stuff, regardless of what I say, the truth is still the truth, regardless if you like the way it fucking sounds. Okay? So let's grow the fuck up. I know what the fuck it is. It's plain as day. Nothing adds up about it. That's why. Is that what this is all about? Is that why everybody's? Then that means I'm fucking right. Did nobody else see that here? I'll read it. Hey, I noticed you had been saying Crusaders is fed up. What? Well, me saying it should be the least of the issue. The fact that it's fucking degeneracy and plain as day. If you just look at it, I don't need to say anything. The fact that you think that me saying something makes it one way or the other is phenomenal thinking. That is mental gymnastics. I suggest if you, here's a suggestion. If you want people to come together and save FTJ, I don't give a fuck what people do anymore. not trying to start a war. Okay, so anybody who wants to walk down the path into the slaughterhouse, I shouldn't say anything. That would be counter to my empathy. The one thing that I'm happily burdened with, because I actually do give a fuck. And if people who are just being led astray because they're looking for truth and they're being deprived of it and they're just in the wrong spot, I would like to warn those people. Okay? Thanks. Thank you for your suggestions of how I live my life. Greatly appreciate that. Who the fuck is everybody, man? Do I go around telling you how to fucking live your life? And the way that you conflate things is a fucking joke. Hey, Real Medic it was once over there. That's how we met. And then same thing with HR VAT 88. Smart people understand what they're looking at. I didn't even have to tell them anything. They knew it. It's pretty easy to sense. And if you just start, analyzing the shit that they've thrown at you as far as the explanations for things, and you look at the behavior of people and who they've interacted with, who they've worked with, what fight promotions they've worked under, and the fact that they're promoting gambling on their site, that's all degeneracy. That's all destroying the goy. And those are industries: circus, gambling. And what are they offering? There's a couple good people over there. A lot. I mean, as far as content creators, really good. And it's another platform for people who are really good, just to have more people out there to see it, to see what they do, and to maybe get in touch with people who actually have substance of character and they're not just like NPCs with a leniency towards talking about the parasite. If there's actual people over there, it might be good to contact, get in touch with those people through your content creating. But then there's people who do wickedly stupid shit that if the Jewish media and politics are telling everybody, including your school, through your school, that you're inherently racist, and then you have people from who don't represent me, but represent the ethnicity, I guess, because they happen to be a certain shade of whatever, go around screaming nigger at 5-year-olds. Well, they kind of are creating the stereotype and trying to make something that's not true real. That's all Jewish fucking sorcery. And if you don't see that over there, okay, have fun with it then. Enjoy yourself over there. Have a fucking wonderful time. I'm sure you won't be honey trapped at all. Have a good day. And that's it, guys. That's all I have to say. I appreciate your time. There's let's make sure there's nobody over here talking still. That's it. That was a short one. I gotta get working on stuff. So if you want to be healthy, I'm showing you how. If you don't want to listen to the advice, move the fuck on. Okay? If you want to know the history of things, I'll do my best to present it to you in a way that's as much organized as I can. I've got a lot of things I've been looking into lately, a lot of books that I have to read to get a better feel as to when they're actually saying, like with Malthus, when is the statement actually made? I've seen the excerpts, but I want to see it in context. The excerpts of him saying, if this is bad for people, tell them to do it. If this is good for people, convince them otherwise. And this was what Malthus was teaching people, and they took that and they applied it to this beast of Rockefeller medicine. Thanks to Pasteur and the Rothschilds, they got everybody scared of magical unicorns and fraudulent results and bullshit. Koch, even though he did the Koch method, the Koch what do you call it, postulate, he didn't even follow it when he was doing his tuberculin. He was a fraud too. The method is good. It made sense. But he didn't even follow it. He fudged he lied about it. And when their treatments and therapies kill people, they're on to the next thing already. Because the cult protects their own. It doesn't mean that it was legitimate. And everything about virus is a lie. The concept, the way it would work, nothing about it is true. The way they say it's a particular, it has to hit the cell, and none of that's possible. There's other things, there's other methods, there's other ways that one could observe what they think is contagion when people are around each other. There's a sympathetic response. And that doesn't mean, oh, I want to be sick too. It means the information that's, again, signaling from another person. If you have a weak, what do you call that? Composition already, because you don't have the proper nutrients, then somebody else's signal that they're giving off is going to influence yours, and it's going to make it like theirs. So if they're not feeling well, it's going to make you not feel well, simply because of the signaling that's occurring between the two. And if you have the terrain or the nutrients and the minerals, that's less likely to happen, which also means any other signal, like from a tower or other places that are suppressing you, some of those things you can resist. All right. Anybody else? All right. Good. Have a good day. It wasn't meant to be a jerk off here. What I was trying to do is just, there's been a lot of shitheads, and there's been a lot of pushback on things, and it's all from like the lowest of the low intellects ever. And then they start saying that they're from this place and that place. Maybe that douchebag cocksucker who likes to post on his Telegram lies about me. Oh, maybe those people somehow didn't come from him. Yeah, but they did. And he's tried to undermine FTJ since its inception. He's been a crying, whining little bitch the whole fucking time. And he tried to without my approval or even consulting me, he made some really horrifically, stupidly gay fucking ad. And then when I didn't like it, and I told him that I left the fucking site because of that cocksucker, because I couldn't stand him or Lerman at the time. And then I came back later because I was like, fuck those guys. I'm not going to let them ruin my ability to be up here. So I came back. But we're talking about over a year ago. I had already made my mind up about what kind of fucking people they were. And yeah, I did start going on with Lerman, because his material when I was with him wasn't as disgusting as the shit that pissed me off about him, like when he was saying killing kids because they're being groomed by liberal demons to be trans or whatever, and convinced that they need to go through these things. He was just like, yeah, kill them all. It was I'm paraphrasing right now, but he was like laughing about it with this maniacal laugh. And I found that to be repulsive. So it's like these children who have been victims from day one, you want to punish them for the actions of others, and you're talking about children. That was enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need. And then that rhetoric wasn't being spoken like that anymore. So we did that show for a little while. I had nothing to do with his downfall. He did that all himself. He even had me in the middle of my show, disrupt my show. He asked me to tell people to leave my show to go to his, because it was dono match night. I guess that's more important. How funny that would turn out later.